No.
Thank you, and a round of applause for the opening comments of our panelists today. So you support the 122 licenses being revoked?
No.
You support the fact. You support the fact.
I am sorry.
He's
sorry,
the advocate for those culprits.
I am very sorry. I do not support.
You support
Mr.
the
Swami.
You are an advocate
And
for
Mr.
those
Swami
who
used to
committed
interrupt
the
me in the very same way, even in court.
Just food for thought as I open up to responses. To this side, I want to say, give me one concrete example and challenge the other side tonight on where, under the garb of judgments, the judiciary is forgetting the separation of powers rule under Article 50 of our Constitution. Give me one concrete example. To the other side, I would say tonight, what about the secrecy within the judiciary? Should it be opened up to the RTI? How are judges appointed? Why is there a cloak and dagger manner in which that is happening? Relevant questions. Do we have interventions?
Yes.
If you have interventions, please raise your hand. And I also want to say your intervention should be specific and to the other person, brief and pointed.
Can I start with responses to Mr. Aryamasundram and
No,
Mr. Singh?
you have intervention to him?
Yes.
Choose one person.
One, he said that who will
That
decide?
is to whom?
Who will decide?
Your point is to Mr. Sundaram?
Sundaram.
Go ahead.
He said there are 3 C's, and he said who will decide? The Parliament enacts the law, the executive carries out the mandate of the law, and the judiciary decides what the law is. So it has to be the judiciary. Would you like the executive to decide what the law is?
Right. Mr. Sundaram.
No, and I want to say one more thing. So not only is the judiciary the first and the second umpire, it is also the third umpire.
Okay, well, Mr. Sundaram, would you like to respond? And you have a counter question as well. Who is that to?
I want to make one thing very clear. I think somewhere along the line, all my friends who are supporting or who are against the motion appear to have got it completely confused. You talk about fundamental rights being affected, the court's interference, and you call that judicial activism. That's not judicial activism, that's judicial functioning. All the examples which have been given, every single one given by Mr. Swami, by the others, every single example
tell us what is activism.
are cases. I will tell you what is activism in answer to Mr. Goswami's question in a moment. What you have been talking about is judicial functioning. If the judiciary doesn't do that, there is no judiciary. If a fundamental right is affected, it is the duty of the judiciary to act. When we talk about judicial activism, in the sense that I understand it to compromise executive powers, I do not mean... Allow me to finish, please. Allow me to finish. I do not mean, it cannot mean judicial activism which corrects misuse of government powers. That is the duty of the judiciary. We are talking about judicial activism compromising executive powers. In other words, where the judiciary starts laying down policy. For example, take our 2G case, since Mr. Subramaniam Swami has spoken about.
I was waiting for this moment.
Now, Mr. Subramaniam Swami has spoken about the 2G case. He was very correct. The judiciary struck down what was wrongly done. Having struck down what was wrongly done, what is the next step? Is the next step then to say, henceforth, all properties shall be given only by auction? Isn't that laying down policy?
That is the question being asked. That is the question being asked in the presidential reference which was passed by the cabinet last week.
Now you ask me what is judicial activism. One moment. You ask me what is judicial activism. That is judicial activism, which I am saying is impinging on executive powers.
So you support the 122 licenses being revoked?
No.
You support the fact.
I am sorry.
He's the advocate for those culprits.
I am very sorry. I do not support.
You support
Mr. Swami.
You are an advocate
and Mr. Swami used to interrupt me in the very same way, even in court.
Okay, he has a right to rebut. He has a right to rebut. Since it's 2G, I'd like Mr. Swami to
let him rebut.
And brilliant lawyers are dangerous. That's why.
Aren't you?
You know,
yes.
Now don't allow dangerous people to take over the executive function.
Are you conceding? Are you conceding to him?
No, I am not conceding.
Let me just say one thing.
Let him
not
respond.
Conceding. As far as the license is concerned, nobody has challenged it. Even the companies have not challenged it. Including your clients, they have not challenged it. Second, on the question where the court observed that where natural resources are concerned, the best procedure is auction.
Was it an observation or was it a direction?
That is what is the clarification being sought. There is in the Constitution and in the provisions of functioning of judiciary to review such things. So here you are saying they have crossed the limits. The court said, okay, this is an arguable proposition, and they issued notice to me to ask for my view. In my opinion, it is time, knowing the number of crooks in the government that have come to occupy it, that we should now have a general rule that where it comes to natural resources, it should be auctioned, and the court was right in doing therefore.
But is that, the question is not whether the court was right or wrong. I, for one, may very well feel it was right.
Sir,
the question is, should the court do it or should Parliament do it?
Yes, it is because,
that is the question.
No, it is because it is my fundamental right to see that the proper price is realized by the government,
And which fundamental
revenue
right
by
are you
auction,
referring to, Mr.
and
Swamy?
the court has upheld my fundamental right.
Which fundamental right are you referring to?
I am referring.
1 minute, gentlemen, I'd like to say here that in the case which you are referring to, the 2G case, the presidential reference which has been asked to, it seeks to know if the court's order amounts to policy making.
Yes, second.
Right? That's the fundamental point.
As far
It
as-
asks whether as a broad principle, it amounts to the formulation of a policy. In other words, the government is asking the Supreme Court, are you getting into policy formation? Is the government trying to corner?
Arnab, the only issue here is, as he said, it has to be normally auctioned. Unless in exceptional circumstances, it is not auctioned for reasons to be specified. That is the
The law is already laid down in the Balco case. Already laid down in the Balco case that it is always free not to auction.
I think,
it's already laid down by a three-judge bench that it's always free
Mr.
not to
Sundram,
auction,
I think-
depending on the
One
exigence.
minute. We are now getting a second rebut.
Can I make a-
Second rebut is to TSR Subramaniam. And who's your point to?
call.
To Mr. Kaur.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Now, incidentally, this is not a rebuttal. This is a support of what you said.
And now that's the IAS
No.
lobby coming.
No.
That's the IAS
In the full spirit of brotherly, which we both belong to.
Don't do this to me.
No. See, we today talked of judicial overreach. I am glad Ariman Sundaram has said that this is normal function, then we have nothing to say after that. Any exceptions, of course, should be condemned. Any adventures should be condemned.
In which case
but
you agree with me.
then for call, the failure of judiciary is precisely the areas he has talked about. The judiciary has not looked after litigants. It has looked after lawyers. Wait. The judiciary...
I don't charge anything.
No. Judiciary takes...
Are you asking a question?
No. I make comment for him. That it takes 20 years to decide. It takes 20 years to decide. Justice delayed is justice denied. Even though the prosecution, investigation or arena in the executive area, they have not done overreach, disciplined prosecution and disciplined investigation to ensure they give liberal adjournments to favor the lawyers at the expense of the litigants. I'm afraid I have offended. I offended a colleague.
Not offended me.
But the fact
Arya will
is, no.
testify.
I feel there are areas where more activism is required by the judiciary to perform their own functions.
I think let the judicial person answer that.
I'm answering that. Mr. Sundaram, as a lawyer who appeared in my court, will testify that he never got an adjournment. So,
I think Justice Mudgal would also say, I never asked for one.
Yeah, because you knew what the answer would be. But I want to answer Mr. Emin Singh. I think you need to inform yourself of what the Constitution Court is. You said Section 377 has been struck down. It could have never have been done. Yes, it can be done. The court can strike down an act, and please remember, this is an act of the 18th century. Let us not harp on it. It reflects, sorry, I'm not finished. It reflects Victorian morality. You can't say the court can't strike down. Court can strike down and must strike down unconstitutional provision.
But Parliament can reenact.
Reenact.
Sir, I was referring to Article 335 of the Constitution.
I'm talking about, you had talked about 377 saying there was no debate. The case was heard for 6 months in the Delhi High Court, and for 3 months it's being heard in the Supreme Court.
I would feel, I think this 2G is going to have a walk away with this Mr. Sundaram and Dr. Swamy, and this 2G being such a recent thing, everybody's interest lies, it seems, in that. But some example that you asked for, You see, judicial intervention in areas which are non-justiciable are also taking place. Now, supposing the judiciary...
I want an example.
You see, like, for example, the case of attack on Indian students in Australia, racial attack.
Sorry?
The Supreme Court issued a notice to the government of India saying, please explain what steps are you taking.
What's wrong?
It's a matter in the diplomatic arena.
They are citizens of India, fundamental rights they have.
Citizens of India in Australia. I mean,
So what? They are still citizens of India. They are students there.
1 minute, let him complete his point, I'll come to you, sir. I'm listening.
Then, when Mayawati's statues and making budgetary provisions, can the judiciary question about the government making budgetary provisions?
They don't stop it. They're there. The statues are there with the
statues are there.
The court's permission.
But the Supreme Court issued a notice asking, explain how you
Yeah,
have made
because somebody complained that if you notice...
I have a counter question. I have a counter question for you.
Another question, like for example,
you have a lot of heartburn on
if the
the
executive takes a decision to go on war with certain country, can the judiciary stop it?
No, but my question
When has
to
it
you
stopped
is...
it?
My question
When has the judiciary stopped a war?
Posing a hypothetical
It can't. It won't do it.
You're
Mr.
quoting it
Sundram,
wrong. You're
Mr.
quoting it
Sundram,
wrong.
it's my turn.
One moment.
Mr. Sundram,
to do
it's my turn.
complete
Don't interrupt.
justice, just
Don't
let me
interrupt.
finish this.
What a pity. I couldn't shut him up the way I could in court. Now,
if, say, I take the example of, say, the black money case, right? If the court says, and Mr. Swami's favorite subject, if the court says, where are the sources of the money? What action have you taken since you know the money is stashed?
It's very much
Is the money...
There is a law to deal with black money.
Drug trafficking or something else, and if the
Arnab,
court
there
then
is a
says
law
there
to
should be an
deal with
SIT.
black money, drug money and money laundering, and therefore the Supreme Court, High Court, all courts have perfect rights to intervene in
Is it a classic case of the government's inertia which has been woken up because of judicial intervention?
I accept that because of many failures of the government, particularly in the present times, ridden with scams and corruption, judiciary is getting an upper hand and must in certain areas
Let's not confuse the issue.
Why do you say
there is a law which is not being followed or being broken, courts should intervene.
Correct.
Where there are laws which are not being implemented, the courts should intervene. Where there are laws, that is the area of the court's intervention. What we are discussing is not the courts doing what they are meant to do, which is to apply the law, ensure the law is being followed. We are talking about areas which fall within the discretionary areas of the executive. Should the courts interfere there? That is the question.
I thought judicial activism, which you refer to, necessarily you acknowledge that it does not exist in a vacuum. It is happening because a vacuum is being
Because they
created
are compromising
by the
executive powers, which is the power of discretion, which is the power of parliament, which is the power of discretion.
Counter
If it's to
question.
do with the law, courts will interfere.
Counter question.
Today, under IPC or any special acts, there is no law against poverty. There is no law against malnutrition. There is no law against poor public health. You think the courts have nothing to do with this?
Of course they do. It's Article 21. It's Article 21. The courts will intervene. It's a fundamental right.
It's not a law. It is a constitution.
It is above law.
It's a
Fundamental
constitution.
right
Yes, I agree.
is the strongest law.
If you say I have nothing further to say, fine.
There are constitutional provisions for those.
Fine, I agree.
And that is law.
I agree.
Nothing more serious than constitutional law.
One minute. Yes,
I have a point.
Mr. Kaul.
My point is different.
Who's your point to, sir?
My point is basically to the earlier point I made, which, the point that you asked. My point is to you. You said, how do you define adventurism from normal activity? I said there are two things that I can point out, and the Supreme Court can look at the entire thing and come to their own thing. First is where judicial orders have fiscal implications. Now you are traversing that area and going into Parliament's domain to pass budget. You know the point that Mr. Singh raised about budget allocations for Mayawati. No business of the judiciary. It is the Parliament to decide where it will spend the money. If the money is wasted, certainly, then you can prosecute and go to jail. No, but no one says those beautiful statues cost 600 crores of good artistic money. Unless you can prove that they are not good, not enough, you cannot go about challenging the decision of the Parliament to invest money.
I want to give you an example to question your point.
Okay.
You know the endosulfan case, right? Since you said fiscal implications, the Supreme Court banned the production and sale of endosulfan, right? And it said that even the life of one child is more precious than all the financial losses that the industry will occur. And if industry occurs, then on tax implications perhaps to the government. My question to you is that encroachment?
No.
Is
Because that is
Bellary
Article
encroachment?
21. That is Article 21.
When the government suspends mining in the Bellary district saying greed has overshot all limits,
Yes.
right? Is that encroachment?
No.
Is that overreach? It's
No,
not.
it is not.
Okay.
But when the judiciary
Because there
says
again, it is
auction
Article
all mines,
21, it
it's
is
an
a question of
encroachment.
protecting the
It's
environment.
too important
Look,
to
It
say
is law.
It is wrong to say
You see,
that judicial
let me make my
decisions...
second point.
He
Sorry.
makes his point, then you can.
Well,
So the first point is fiscal implications. The second point is judiciary going into areas in which it does not have expertise. That is happening quite a lot.
Ministers do that. Hyundai do that.
No,
They
not
do in
that.
all areas. Ministers do that. What's the problem? No,
Talk
all
about
the
yourself.
experts and get a
You may be
decision.
doing that. I've never done that. So policy making, it requires a certain degree of knowledge, data, analysis, expertise from various sources, and then policy is made. A judge deciding a complex issue, how natural resources should be priced and disposed of, is too complex an issue to be left to judges. There are so many, I'll give you the three examples in this. There is a trade-off between revenue maximization and environment, number one, in the disposal of natural resources. There's a trade-off between the premium that you'll get from a big auction and the royalty. You can increase the royalty 3 times, get the money over 25 years. If you get an auction, you'll get a lot of money, and we have known, and you have known, Dr. Swami, that whenever there's a windfall with government, it wastes it. Thirdly, end use. If you'll price coal at the price of gold, what happens to the price of power? So if you say auction and stop, what happens to disposal of water? Will you auction water also tomorrow? So therefore, what happens with this kind of a thing with judges going into areas in which they don't have expertise is that you get simple solutions to complex problems.
Okay, I
Creating
now,
more problems.
to that, a rebut from Subramaniam Swamy. Go ahead.
Yeah.